What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome, I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show is changes. Are you ready for them? Is your life changing constantly or staying the same? How much are you resisting changes? What if you can go with the flow and not be swiped by the currents of life? And I'm a medical doctor who became Access Consciousness Facilitator, Akashic Record teacher, founder of School of Akashic Records, 3-day body facility. I have many hats. And my life has been one whirlwind of changes. I cannot even imagine a day that is not something is changing and moving. And what are the indeed possibilities for my life? And with all of that, I remember my life being as a doctor, as a wife, as a mother, and like I'm still a mother, I'm not a wife, and I'm no longer a practicing physician. And yet I do invite people to a different possibility with their health, money, and relationships through classes, through private lessons, through energy healing, because to me, we are ultimate change. We are amazing beings in a beautiful, infinite embodiment that can create the life that we desire. A lot of times we get caught in day to day activities, day to day problems, as we call them. And really, are they problems? Or are they something we created to overcome so we can prove to ourselves that we're smart, that we're strong, that we are. And we have all those definitions of ourselves where we're trying to prove that those are correct definition, that we deserve what we have in life. And sometimes even like I work with some clients where we find that they're trying to prove that they have the right to exist. What if all of that is a lie? What if all of that is something that things got created by other people, not even us, and we bought it as ours throughout our lives? I've been facilitating classes of Access Consciousness and Akashic Records for, let's see, Access Consciousness for over 11 years and Akashic Records for over quarter of a century. I'm talking about 26 years. And with all of that, there is always, with both modalities, there is always a question of who does it belong to? Well, that's the official question of Access Consciousness. It's copyrighted. And you can use it all the time by asking, who does it belong to for every thought, feeling, and emotion that you have in your body, or even pain in your body? And in Akashic Records, usually we kind of look, oh, that's not my energy. So there are prayers to let it go. It's really how much what we're suffering is not ours. So let's play with that right now. I challenge you right now, just for anything that's going on in your life. Let's ask, who does it belong to? And again, who does it belong to? Who truly does that belong to? Is it mine or somebody else's or something else? Is it lightening up? Because for me, it's getting lighter. Let me explain something. If you never heard my show before, there is a wonderful tool of light and heavy. Again, Access Consciousness, and you can find out more on accessconsciousness.com. It's been created by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Hare with over I don't know how many years it's been out there, over 170 countries. It's been amazing. It saved my life at some point. And it's really, who does it belong to? Let's ask it a few times. Who does it belong to? Okay, it's getting lighter. So let's talk about light and heavy. Whatever is true will always feel light. Whatever is a lie always feels heavy. So just scan your body and feel it. Feel any kind of heaviness, any pain, maybe they don't have any pain, which is wonderful. Maybe you have some thoughts. Bah, cannot even talk, but maybe you have some thoughts that do not belong to you. Because we're just antennas picking up transmissions from all over the world. And depending how good you are, I'm talking about how psychic you are, and all of us are psychic to a certain extent, you pick up anywhere from a few miles to a few hundred miles to a few thousand miles around that kind of like almost like a radio waves. So let's play again. Who does it belong to? And there is an app that you can use to remind you of asking that question. Who does it belong to? Cool. Love it. I'm lighter. If you're not, okay. Choice. Choice creates, choice creates, choice creates. And that's according to Gary Douglas, Access Consciousness. And it's about literally, we choose everything in our lives. We choose the changes. We choose stagnation. Because if we don't change, that means that might be something is not flowing. What if life is all about change? Good, bad, ugly, but it's all about change. Change is not something to be afraid of. I have a grandson who's amazing, and he changes every single moment. Like today, I realized that he can sit by himself. He couldn't yesterday. And now he sits with very little support. He's choosing to grow, he's choosing to continue changing. And he doesn't know actually that he shouldn't be changing. It's kind of like his, I wouldn't call it programming, or maybe it is. And it's actually our programming as well. What if we continue evolving and we don't even realize that? Oh, wait, we are evolving. Don't recognize it a lot of times. But what if it's not a wrongness? What if it's just what is? A lot of times, what I found myself looking into the future, projecting, calculating, kind of like looking what will happen, not knowing what will happen. Or the opposite is true. Staying in the past, kind of like, oh, I should have done this, I should have done this, or I made mistake here. That cannot be changed. Well, it can, but we're not talking here about that. I'm talking about like in our physical reality, it's past, it's gone. And I'm not talking about theory of relativity. Sorry, I'm in tangent everywhere. So yeah, we can change anything, even our past, future, it's all simultaneous. But let's not talk about. Let's talk about kind of like common view of this reality that past is a past, future hasn't happened, and we're here in the present. And I love what I heard from, I don't remember where I heard that quote. I've heard it from Gary, but I think it's probably somewhere else as well, Gary Douglas, that present is called because like it is a present, it's a gift. And we forget that it is a gift to be here in that moment by thinking about the past, by judging ourselves about that, by calculating and computing the future. We are not present in our lives. We are not present for our changes. And those changes sometimes happen, but they don't happen. We choose them, but they do happen if we are not present. They start happening unconsciously or even anti-consciously against us because we didn't pay attention to what's going on. What if we just choose every second, every moment of what we are thinking, what we are doing, what we are projecting? Because our projections, that's what creates the future. When we think something, that creates a future. When we have emotion about something, that creates our present and future. And look at that. Look at the moment where you are right now. Close your eyes and just allow yourself to be present in this energy, in this second, in this 10 seconds. Access consciousness has amazing tool. Live your life in 10 seconds increment. Because 10 seconds are probably the easiest interval to be aware, to be present. So, and I've done it in other shows. You can always go to the archives and listen to other shows where I do that exercise a little bit longer and explain it in a little bit more details. Today, I just would like to go to the actual exercise. And you don't have to know kind of like or understand that. Just think about that. Your life will end in about 10 seconds. What will you choose now? Will you choose to judge yourself? Would you choose to compute the future? Would you choose, oh, by the way, the 10 seconds is over. You didn't die. So what will you choose now? You still have 10 seconds to live. Let's say an asteroid is flying toward the Earth and it will hit Earth in 10 seconds. Oh, it didn't kill us in 10 seconds. So we have another 10 seconds to live. What will you choose now? Again, would you choose to be with your loved ones, or will you choose to sit in the pity pot of what happened to you 20 years ago, or be angry at somebody who hurt you 10 years ago? No. If you have 10 seconds to live your life, you probably would choose something like eating your favorite ice cream or going outside or looking like right now there is a blizzard going. But it's so beautiful outside. I'm sitting inside in a warm, cozy house and looking outside at the snow falling. That's how I would like to choose, to be present with the snow, to be present with the warmth of this room, to be present with you who are watching it now or in the future and the recording and talking to you. I am talking to you. I'm talking to everyone that's here in the studio right now or in the future who will be watching or just listening to the recording. And you can always go to any podcast station and listen to old shows. I have probably over 100, maybe over 200 shows that I've done in the last few years. And it's time for our first break of the show. And when we return, we'll talk more about changes. And you're listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today, our show topic is changes. Are you ready for that? And in the first part, we were talking about who does it belong to, because a lot of things do not belong to you. And with all of those changes or no changes, a lot of it is the points of view we have from other people. And we also talked a lot about living your life in 10 seconds, being aware of what's going on in the present instead of paying attention to the past or the future. And you can always listen to the recordings in the archive if you missed the first part. So changes, are you ready for them? And a lot of people try to prepare for changes. Can you be ready for them? And how do you get ready for them? The interesting part, it's what we were talking in the first part. Being present. When you're present with what is, then you can be ready for the change. Because then you know change is coming. Then you can always ask questions. What else is possible? How does it get any better than that if it might not be to your liking? Or if it's to your liking, you still can improve it on by asking, how does it get any better than that? So ready for changes. And a lot of times people don't even realize they have changes in their lives. Some of them are minute, like certain things that's growing in the body, and they totally ignore it. What if we don't ignore anything? What if we pay attention to everything and being aware of every little thing that's going on with our body, with our being, with our finances, with our relationship? Let's talk about relationship. A lot of people, like I went through 2 divorces, and I'll talk about the first one. The changes were happening, and I ignored them because a lot of times we say, okay, I was married 10 years, together 11, and you would say, okay, did you see the divorces coming? Well, actually, I probably knew that I would not be with that man even before I married him. How many of you actually got married and knew that it was not the person to be with? And you just did that for some reason, for like made yourself believe that, oh yeah, I love him. Oh yes, I can change him. Oh yes, we send out the invitation. I had a client like that who said, because one of the questions we asked, when did you leave the relationship? 6 months before, 6 months after the wedding. And she says, oh wow, 6 months before. And why did you marry him? Oh, because the invitations came out and I didn't want to disappoint other people. So, how much in our lives we do things not to disappoint other people and continue doing them way beyond the time when it was kind of like let's say expiration date. You know how they put the expiration date on the produce, and sometimes you would eat it after the expiration date and it does not taste good, does it? So what if relationship is also goes through expiration date? What if, and what if we can pay attention to the changes? And what if they don't have to expire? What if by being present with changes or trying to keep things the same? That's another thing, by the way. A lot of people try to keep things the same. When you are in nature, can anything stay the same? Yeah, it can. Well, it's still not, but when there is a water that's stagnating, like in a swamp, where there is no changes, there is no flow in the water, what happens? There is decay. How much of that decay happens with relationship, with bodies, with finances, if we do not acknowledge or being aware of changes that are? Because present is constantly changing. Now, like this second that I'm talking is not the same second that was 10 seconds ago. It's things already changed. Just by me talking, it changed my life, it changed your life, it changed the world. How much we are changing the world by being present and don't even acknowledge it. Some people say, oh, I don't facilitate classes. Oh, I don't work. Wait a second. You still talk to people. You still facilitate consciousness if you are aware, if you are being you. That's probably one of the most important things, is to be us, to be who we are without judgment, good, bad, and ugly, with all the words, with all the things that we like, we don't like, just be. And it doesn't mean do nothing. It's just being who we are. A lot of times we try to be nice, we try to be kind, or what we decided is kind. But what if even kindness is not what we think? Because a lot of times we're being kind to somebody and then we feel bad because there's something off. Because maybe that kindness was not a kindness at all. Nice might not be what that person required. Maybe that person required yelling at them and saying and kicking them in the butt so they can change. A lot of times we have no clue. We pretend to be what we know and suppress what we actually do know. Being nice is overrated. Let's face it. Because nice is the front. Nice is actually, there is a definition of nice that not very many people know. Actually, if you look in the dictionary, nice means foolish. How many of you are actually foolish to be nice? That's not fun. And how many of you know what's actually being a bitch is? Bitch is actually a female dog that protects her family, protects her cubs. It's not a mean person. That's actually being a cunt, not being a bitch. And we're still in that upbringing that we're supposed to be nice. We cannot be a bitch. but that's cutting parts of us. It's not being who we are. It's not truly being all of us. And it's like, let's say, being in a relationship, when we start cutting parts of ourselves, is you're trying to stuff yourself in a small, tiny car where you have to cut your arm, cut your leg, and then nothing is left of you. And there's a lot of things that we suppress where we shouldn't, or judge ourselves when we actually being us where it was exactly what's required. There's a joke on the internet I read years ago about the guy going to heaven. Well, he died, goes to heaven, and he is met by whoever at the pearly gates. And the guy at the pearly gates, I don't know, St. Peter or angel or whoever, archangel, he has a list of everything that person did in his life. And he's like, do you think you deserve to go to heaven? And the guy, yeah, I tried to be nice. I did the best I could. There were a few things I judged myself for. I'm sorry, but hopefully you won't judge harshly about it. And the angel is like, okay, take a look what you did. Oh, when you were a Boy Scout, you helped an old lady to cross. And I told that story many times if you listen to me every week. If you didn't, you probably, if you listen to the recording, you'll hear it again. So you helped the old lady to cross the street. Was it a good thing or a bad thing? And the guy is, oh, I felt so proud at that moment. I helped the old lady. And the angel is like, actually not real good. Because if you didn't, she would have lived 20 more years. But because you helped her, she walked faster instead of kind of like slipping and walking very slowly with her walker. Because she was so fast, she ended up going across the street, around the corner, and got hit by a bus, which she would have missed if you didn't help her. Okay, let's move on. Remember that bar fight you had with a guy and broke his nose? Oh my God, I still feel guilty about it. Really? You actually saved that person's life, marriage, and he lived long life instead of dying in 3 years from alcoholism. So with all of that, it's being aware of what we are doing, and being us is probably the most important, not so much important, but what if we choose to be aware every second, every minute of our lives? And that's actually being ready for changes. Oops, we are almost out of time. It's time for our second break of the show. And when we return, we'll talk more about being ready for changes in our lives. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. We will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease and on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is changes. Are you ready for them? And in the first two parts, we talk a lot to be present, to be who we are, not to take on other people's stuff. Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to say bad words on the show, but sorry, it's all that is crap. That's not ours. So just return it back. And by the way, just ask, who does it belong to? And a lot of times it goes back. And I do facilitate classes around the world and online on how to be ourselves, like being you, changing the world is one of the classes of access consciousness that Dr. Dane here has been based on his book, and we are doing classes. So just watch for the classes, body classes, foundations, many different classes. There is going to be body class in El Paso, Texas in the summer. And just go to my website, creatingabundancewithease.com or accessconsciousness.com/Helen Gitlevich. With all the changes around us, look at the world. Look how much the world is changing. There's a lot of things going on, especially after COVID, after all of this. It's been a few years after COVID, so COVID's not supposed to be here, but yet it's still, people talk about it. People talk about the war. People talk about the earthquake. There's earthquakes. There's so many disasters in the world. But what if all those disasters, all of that is part of change? What if we stop looking at them as disasters, as something awful, but just something that creates a different reality? Because if we look at that, even in the past, well, this is one of those times when I do look at the past to see how it changes, because war's been happening throughout our history for thousands, millions of years. And then after the war comes peace and prosperity, right? There is an amazing fable about King Solomon, where he put out a riddle, and whoever solves that riddle would get, like, I don't know, some treasure. And he said, please, if somebody can give me a gift, which I can use in the good times to make myself humble, and in the bad times to get me out of whatever rut I am in, A lot of people tried, nothing happened until finally somebody came in and brought him a ring. And there was an inscription on the ring saying, "And this shall pass," meaning that everything passes, good, bad, ugly. There's a saying, I remember my grandma used to say, life consists of um, kind of like lines, black and white, and meaning it's good, it's bad, it's kind of like, and the trick is not to go along the black line, which is like the troubles. You can go along the white line, but the best is to go across all of them. And that's what changes are all about. It's not about being stuck in one thing. No matter how horrific it is, no matter how scary it is, we can still move. And this shall pass. And this shall pass. And how does it get any better than that? This is kind of like playing in the same thing as what else is possible? What can we change? The idea of all the classes that I facilitate is not about looking for the answer. It's not about being stuck in the conclusion or decision or a judgment. It's about being a question, asking questions. It's about movement. It's about change. It's constantly asking what else is possible and how does it get any better than that? Those questions will get you out of anything and it creates more. I had a lot of upgrades and changes in my finances when I started asking those questions. And I remember my daughter asking, like, "Mom, that's enough. It's annoying when you ask so many questions." And I'm like, okay. But that was 11 years ago. Now, "Mom, can you ask me a question?" Because that's what changes. The more you ask, the more it changes. Because if you're in the conclusion, this is it cannot change. You're stuck. You're against the wall. But if you say, "Oh, what can I change here? What is that? What do I do with it? Can I change it? And if yes, how can I change it?" Things start shifting. The universe starts shifting. It's like pretty much you playing with a Play-Doh. You can make any shape and then you can stretch it, you can pull it, you can do whatever you want. But if you put the Play-Doh in the box and you leave it open and you don't touch it and you don't stretch it and you don't play with it, it hardens. And then you cannot play with that. What if our life is like Play-Doh? What if our lives is about changing and forming it and playing with that? Let's all look at our lives as just a game. Oh, wait, it is. It's a virtual vibrational reality. Didn't you know it? And we are just avatars. Our bodies are avatars. I love my body, I love my avatar, and I'd like to stay here for a while. How about you? Do you like your body? Or do you judge your body? How much are you judging your body into the illnesses? How much are you judging you into problems? Because every judgment is a lie. Every judgment is a conclusion. Every judgment creates another judgment, which creates in turn solidity in our lives, which cannot be changed unless we choose it to change. That's where the changes come from your choices, from my choices, from choices of every person around us. What if it's that simple? What if by choosing, we change the world? Oh, wait, we are. And People say, oh, but I don't have a choice. Well, not having a choice is still a choice. Years ago, I remember when I just started my journey or was in the middle of it. I don't remember if, because I started very early. I started when I was pretty much a kid. Um, that was when I was an adult, when I kind of like threw my hands in the air and says, I don't have a choice. And my mentor looked at me and says, not having a choice is still a choice. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't have choice. I do not have any choice in here. Well, a couple of years later, I'm like, okay, sure, you were right. And seriously, everybody has a choice. Everybody not choosing still has a choice of not choosing. And that's not the wrongness, by the way. I'm not judging you guys. This is just to acknowledge what is. Unless we acknowledge what is, we cannot move. We cannot change anything. If we are looking at something and lying to ourselves, lying to others, saying, oh, it will be fine, when we know that there is something we need to change. Instead of saying it's fine, what if we say, fuck you? This needs to be changed. I'm changing this. This is actually truly about you choosing for you and you being aware of what your choices create. And a lot of people have an idea that the good judgments are not the judgments. They are compliments. They are whatever they are. And the bad are really judgments. No, actually, either one of them can be good or bad, could be judgment or awarenesses. Because a lot of times we are aware of the person is a bit like that woman is a bitch. It could be a judgment or an awareness that she is being a bitch in the moment. Doesn't mean she's always a bitch, but she might be an evil person in that moment. Doesn't mean we're judging her. It's just we're aware. But if we solidify, then it goes into judgment. If we say she's always a bitch, that's a different story. And sometimes, oh, she's a wonderful person, might be a judgment, not an awareness. It's about asking questions. It's about being present. All I'm asking you just to stop and kind of smell the roses, even if the rose does not smell too good. When you actually know what is in front of you, then you can change it. Then you can choose something different. Until you acknowledge what is, you cannot change. And that's what creates the havoc in the world. And it's time for our third and final break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease on Inspired Choices Network. And today our show topic is changes. Are you ready for them? And our show is kind of coming to the end. We have only like 10 minutes left of the show. Just want to remind you that the first three parts, we talked a lot about how to be ready for changes, how to be aware, how to live your life, and different tools like who does it belong to? How does it get any better than that? What else is possible? And living your life in 10 seconds increments. All of those tools are from Access Consciousness, and you can find out more on my website, creatingabundancewithease.com. You can always contact me if you have any questions at Creating Abundance with Ease webpage, creatingabundancewithease.com, or on Facebook, either on my business page, Creating Abundance with Ease, or on my personal, Helen Gitlevich, or on Instagram, or through the different mediums and emails, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. These many ways of get hold of me. And just choose, choose for you, choose to change. And it's about having ease with that. Before the show is over, I would like to introduce one of my favorite tools. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And it's a mantra of access. And it helped me with so many things. If you say it 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening, or 100 times a day, or 1,000 times a day, it actually shifts and changes. It's not about having easy life, or who knows, maybe that will what will create for you, but it's about having ease with everything life offers, good, bad, and ugly. And let's do it together 10 times. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. You can say all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. And I'll do both ways. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. I feel better. And before the show is over, I would like to do my favorite meditation on expansion. And you can download it for free from my website, creatingabundancewithease.com. That would actually put you on my email list. And if you don't want to be, you can always unsubscribe. But you don't get much email from me, probably like once a month newsletter, or maybe a couple more emails if there is something urgent. Unless you sign up for the class, then you get information about the class. So just relax. If you're sitting or laying down, you can lay down, sit down, doesn't matter. Don't close your eyes if you're driving, because some people listen when they're driving. So you can always listen on the recording and do it at home when you relax in bed. And just allow yourself to drop all your barriers and allow yourself just to sense your body. Put your hands on either your knees or on your abdomen. Just feel your breath. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Open your crown to let the white light to go through your body. Breathe it in and allow it to go through the body and out of your feet into earth. Full energy of earth through your feet, through your body, and let it out through the crown. And I might do a little bit of symphony before we go and expand your consciousness, expand you 10 miles or kilometers, 100 miles or kilometers, 1,000 miles or kilometers. And keep expanding until you're bigger than Earth, bigger than our universe, bigger than our multiverse. And from that space, just allow yourself to ask, what is that's required today for me to be me? And just allow yourself to continue expanding, continue being who you are, and being aware of everything in your world. What if it's not about cognitive awareness? What if it's about actually knowing what you know and being who you are? This is about asking questions. This is about not going to conclusion. This is about not judging you. This is about all of you. No matter what you do, be, sense, or generate, this is about your choices. And you can choose for you. You can choose what works for you. Because if it works for you, most likely, it will work for everybody else. When you try to do what works for everybody else, not always will it work out for you. And our show is coming to the end. And you can always find me on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, email me, and just watch for the classes around the world. You can always, there is over 240 shows in the archives, the podcast station, Spotify, on iTunes, on different, like Apple TV. If you like watching me, I'm on Apple TV, on Binge TV, on a lot of different stations. If you just search Helen Gitlevich or Creating Abundance with Ease, you'll find me. I do have my own YouTube channel, which is no fantasy there, Creating Abundance with Ease, and the Telegram channel, Creating Abundance with Ease. So this is about, I just want to wish you the best of luck, the best of everything, that just keep choosing and just being. This is about using the tools, and you don't have to use the tools. Just if you're being expanded and aware, that's all, and asking questions, that's all that's required to be and prosper. This is about choosing your life and choosing the changes and being ready for them. Even those changes being there might not be what you think your choice is, they're still your choice. I love you all, and we'll see you around. We'll see you next shows, next Facebook Lives, next classes. Hopefully, I'll see you someday in person, and it doesn't matter where it is, or online. You take care, and I love you all. Mwah.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.